All right, everybody, greetings. This again is Attorney Anthony Reeves bringing you your Social Security Legal Beat tip. And I got a couple of questions that have been posed out to me. I want to thank the individuals who are asking me about the workers' comp offset, as well as about the pain threshold, or what we call the pain standard, as well as about the medically determinable impairment. I'm going to address those in upcoming videos, but I wanted to address this one from Mr. XPU, who asked me about the functional report forms third party. Glad you brought that up because that's something I like to talk to people about when these forms are popped out. When you file your disability application and your case gets transferred to the disability determination services, one of the things they do is they will send out forms to you, which are functional forms. These functional forms are designed for you to describe what's going on in the course of your daily activities, what's going, in terms of what do you do when you get up in the morning, how do you handle getting dressed, when do you experience any problems, you know, cleaning the house or anything like that. What most people don't also realize is that when they'll also ask you, meaning the Social Security Administration, is to provide them the name of at least two or three people who can provide them with information about your case or about you. And what they do is they send them a form similar to the one that you receive. This may sound wild, but I want you to keep in mind this. Somebody asked me once before, why does Social Security send all these forms all over the place? I don't understand. I'll tell you one word: consistency. Because a lot of times they want to see is what you're saying consistent with what everybody else is seeing as well. Let me give you a good example. Let's say, for instance, you say when you go to the grocery store that every time you go, you got to ride in a motorized cart and you always have to go with someone. You can never go by yourself. And then they send a form to your friend. And they ask him, have you ever seen your friend go grocery shopping? Yeah, I've seen him the other day. When they were grocery shopping, were there any problems? No, they were walking around. Matter of fact, we walked up and down the aisles together. Now, see how that's a little different from you saying you're in a cart and the other friend of yours is saying they've seen you walk up and down the aisle? That plays a part with your credibility. Because if you're not being consistent, they're going to look at what you're saying in light of your condition with a little bit degree of suspect. So the first thing they do is they look for consistency. And it's consistency throughout. So when you get those functional reports, they're trying to see, are you embellishing it all? Let me kind of add it a step further. In some instances, when you're applying, in some states, you have two appeals before you go before a judge. Well, the first appeal, they're going to give you the same big old set of forms, including these functional forms. The next time you go, they're going to appeal. If you have a two appeal step before you go to hearing, they're going to give you the same set of forms again. And they're going to see whether or not you're adding things or you're making things appear worse than what they really are. But I know is really not about you at this instance. This is really about your third party forms. The idea is just like I said before, these third party forms are designed to check your consistency. So, one of the things I tell people when people ask about these forms, I say, don't just give the names of any old body to Social Security. Give it to people who you know can give an honest appraisal of your condition and will honestly let the disability determination or what we call Social Security, either one, let them know how your condition is affecting you. What should happen is what you say is wrong with you should mirror what they're saying. Now, let's put it out here for this other thing. So just food for thought. Don't try to be slick, people. Don't try to wait until they get their forms. And then you take your forms and you sit down and you try to make sure that they go side by side. Because then that will send all kind of red flags. That if they say mirror exactly the same thing. Remember, your friends only see you every now and then. If they're people who see you on a regular basis, they probably are not there when you go to bed at night or wake up in the morning. But they should be familiar enough with the problems that you have from their own observation so that it should be similar to what you're saying. So if you say you go to the grocery store and you ride around a cart and your third party, which is your family member or friend, says when they come to pick you up to go grocery shopping and you always ride around in a cart, those things are consistent. So keep those things in your mind. Let me tell you the other thing about functional reports. They typically ask you for more than one, to take in consideration if you have one person who's trying to help you out, hook you up. In other words, think of it like this: the likelihood that all three people are going to say the exact same thing is probably not going to be very great. Everybody's going to have their own slight different version of how they see you do different things. However, they should be very close. So if your best friend here says that they've seen you ride a cart, the other friend here says they see you with a walker, another friend say they never see you go to the store without having somebody with you, well, those things are consistent with what you said when you said you need help getting around, you ride a cart, and you never go by yourself. But the other thing that's important is when you have three people, and they ask you for 2 to 3 people, they're expecting that if they're all very similar, I'm not saying that there's a difference between being the same and similar. If what they're seeing is similar, it helps your case. But they're looking to see if there's anything that's weird as well. So, like, if you try to say, oh, I'm just so bad, and this person over here says, oh, I'm so bad, and the second person says, oh, I'm so bad, but then the third person says, well, no, he's not that bad, that's going to let Social Security know that maybe they need to investigate this a little bit further. I need to make this point abundantly clear. When you're applying for Social Security benefits, you are applying for monies that you have contributed as part of a participation in a federal program. A lot of times people say, why ain't they giving me my money? I said, this is a federally administered program. And sometimes with SSI, Supplemental Security Income, you have to pay it into that. That's a need based program. So Social Security has the responsibility of ensuring that no one is fraudulently obtaining money. So contrary to all, I've gotten a few messages from people saying Social Security is the biggest fraud. There's people all the time, and I'm like, who all the time who are like getting benefits and they shouldn't. And I'm always like, you have no idea all the steps Social Security takes to make sure that people are lawfully complying with the program. And I'll be the first to tell you, sending functional forms to third parties, meaning family or friends, is one of those steps. So just be mindful of the person. And please be smart, people. If you've got a friend that you put there who's somebody who only sees you once a year because you don't want this person over here to talk, that's not helping your case. Get somebody who you know legitimately has seen your condition and can attest to how your condition affects you. That's my comments about functional reports for third parties. I hope it helps you out. If you have any other questions, because I know I tend to talk fast, please, by all means, send me comments. I get alerts that come to my emails. Or you feel free to check out my blog, legalbeat.anthonyreeves.com, or you can check me out at www.reevesfirm.com. So, Social Security Disability for you.